I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Oh yeah, it's showtime, and welcome back to another cult horror movie review. As we all know, director John Carpenter is famous for his works in the horror and action genre, and this time he decided to bring us both at the same time. We're talking about They Live, a science fiction action good time, sprinkled with a little humor and horror on top. A film that manages to be both fun and profound at the very same time. But just before we get going, if there's a cult horror movie you would like me to review, just leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, let me know your thoughts and feelings on They Live. Former wrestler turned actor Roddy Piper plays a drifter who travels to Los Angeles looking for work. One day, he finds a pair of sunglasses that make him see the world as it truly is. He finds out that aliens have secretly blended into the human race and now control all societies around the world. Every day-to-day products are filled with subliminal messages made to control people and tricking them into not questioning the status quo. With the help of another guy called Frank, played by Keith David, who was also in The Thing a few years earlier, both of them set out to expose this humongous conspiracy and get rid of the alien invaders once and for all. I think They Live is the most thought-provoking movie John Carpenter has ever made. It's a reflection on consumer societies, social control through mass media, class struggle, and economic inequalities that were quite present back then but still hit hard today. I think that Piper and David were a good choice of roles. They portray a couple of memorable action characters, all muscly and dirty and badass, which is ironic because the Drifter character never has a real name. In the credits, he's just listed as Nada, which was the same name of the character in the short story this movie is based off, called 8 o'clock in the morning. I will never forget that scene where the Drifter and Frank are just beating the absolute life out of each other for 5 minutes straight. It was just so unexpected, hilarious, and unbelievable. Speaking of characters, Holly Thompson was pretty useless though. They could have found a better actress to portray a woman with more emotions, because here she just looks dead inside. I thought it was a pretty weird choice to include her in this. I did notice also a few stunts that look a little cheap, but overall I was satisfied with the action sequences, and Roddy Piper just never seems to run out of shotgun shells. Oh yeah, and speaking of him, he has a bunch of quotable one-liners throughout this picture that made this all the more memorable.
You're okay. This one, real fucking ugly.
Mama don't like tattletales.
Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can.
Life's a bitch.
She's back in heat.
John Carpenter really seems to have a thing for 1950s sci-fi films. If you guys remember, in Halloween he had a scene from The Thing from Another World playing on TV at one point. And in this movie we see the monolith monsters play for a few seconds, and in another scene there is what appears to be another old sci-fi film, although I can't tell which one it is, so if anyone has any ideas, please let me know. That practice is a cool and fun tribute to the films of the past. I think that audiences also remember this movie for the design of the extraterrestrials. They kinda look like skeletons with bubbly eyes. It's neat and kinda creepy, especially when they act like human beings in disguise. Maybe exploring and tapping into the whole lore of these space creatures would have been interesting, because we get a couple small saucers that appear here and there, but I think they could have done more. Overall, They Live has really achieved cult classic standards by now. I think it's one of Carpenter's best, not only because it achieves at blending multiple genres, but also because of its original premise and heavy satire. It'll make you think twice now before buying a newspaper.